Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ireland Esports Collegiate Series powered by Natives, where we're in for another couple of interesting games today. Joining me today is someone I have cast with before and have knowledge of, a legend in the Irish scene if anyone knows him. It is the one, the only, the Squab. Squab, how are you today?
What's up? To be honest, I'm so gassed. I obviously this is my first ever Ireland Collegiate cast of any nature. So I'm really excited to get underway with that. Obviously, I played last year, so I didn't really get much of an opportunity to do it. But today, my beloved UCC Netsoc Rebels will be on display right here on the Ireland Collegiate Twitch chat, and I'm really excited to watch them play.
UCC, yeah, home team as well. And they're going against my old team, TUD as well. I used to play for TUD back in the day, and I mean, now I have graduated, but I mean, it's pretty interesting. We got a UCC fan and we got a TUD fan here. It should be interesting for game one at least.
Yeah,
Both
that's good.
teams are doing well as well, aren't they? I believe.
Yeah, so we got two and 0 Titans going up against each other here. It's going to be really exciting, and yeah, I'm really excited to see this new breed of UCC because it's five unique players. They didn't play last split at all, coming in and making their debuts. Obviously, they made their debuts last week. 2 wins from two for a new team that had never played with each other before. I've been really impressed with watching them so far, and I think these two teams match up particularly well this time around. Um, I would probably put the favor slightly in TUD's favor, but I honestly think UCC, especially on the blue side, if they are going to be on the blue side, could do some really big damage in this game.
Speaking of big damage, Worlds started today, fresh off a big batch of League of Legends. I hope people tuned in after watching aren't knackered after watching that, man, because I think what's happening at the moment is we've gone through a lot of League of Legends in one day, and already we're starting off the collegiate. So some of the lads have watched what the pros been playing at the moment in Worlds, and maybe they see like what they see. Maybe there's some builds they're wanting to try. One thing I have noticed from some of these Worlds games is a lot of build variety going on. I've seen a lot of some champions would go on lethality, so and then opting for maybe an on-hit attack speed build as well. Notably, Kai'Sa. Have seen some other champions picked as well. Zaya's being picked. And it's looking fairly bot focused at the moment, with mid laners taking a more control mage style of play with maybe a tank top. What do you think yourself, Squad?
Yeah, obviously Kai'Sa is the big one. That's the ultimate bravery champ right now. You know, you can slap 5 items and some boots on that AD carry and watch her fly, like, you know. But yeah, I've been super interested. You know, with there's a lot of like mythic changes and stuff. You know, you have like Cassante can go like with the Iceborne Gauntlet or with the Jacksha the Protean. And there's a lot of build variation right now. That we're obviously it's our last time seeing it before the mythic items get booted next season. So I'm interested to see if these guys have been paying attention to the comps that we've seen from this morning. You know, 6 a.m. is an early time to wake up to watch League. Interested to see if they've been paying attention, if they've been working on their comps, you know, throughout the week. They both had 2-0 weeks, so I don't really know, you know, how intently they've been studying their drafts, but we'll have to see as it goes along.
I agree with that. I definitely think there's a lot going on in terms of, like, after a lot of League of Legends this morning. I mean, a lot of people could be in the library, could be up ready to study, could be on the commute in. You know, people could catch the tail end of some of this League of Legends and maybe binging a lot of it before they go in here as well. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, we're currently, as far as I'm aware, waiting on a draft lobby. I haven't received one yet from anyone, so I don't think we're quite underway just yet. But we'll be able to bring it straight to you once it does get underway. I was just apologies for that change in the scene there. I was just making sure that we hadn't had it yet. So I've been thinking about this new UCC roster, and there's one man in particular I'd like to point out just before these games starts. NYBM is the AD carry. He's originally from China, over here studying in Cork for the year. Was straight away into the Netsoc chat asking what the story was with the League of Legends team. So his mind's on the prize. Their captain, their mid laner Hulk reformed, did the tryouts. You know, he took the reins and ran some really good tryouts. They have a solid 6-man roster. I think they have one substitute today, a change in support. So
Okay.
we're gonna have to see, coming off of a 2-0 week, if they can adapt to having one new member this time around.
Support's an interesting one to swap though, especially for synergy with the AD carry, because a lot of bot lane matchups do rely heavily on the synergy with the support, especially at collegiate level where people duo with each other and play together regularly. So that might actually be a factor in UCC going into this game.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know much about the TUD Daredevils. As far as I'm aware, they're TUD's second team. Obviously you have the Apes Alpha that we saw on stream last week, with a stellar performance against UCD. Not to be understated themselves, like oftentimes we talk about the front runners. You have, UCD's first team, TUD's first team, you have UCC and their one team that they have every year. But sometimes these second teams come up and they surprise you. If anyone remembers back to the Clock Kingdom, that was the second team. Shout out my boy Claude if he's watching. These teams can really pop up and surprise you. So I'm really excited to see the TUD Daredevils come in and see what they're like.
I definitely think it's interesting with some of these second teams because you don't expect some of these games to be as entertaining as they are. Sometimes you expect some of these matchups to be stomps, especially what we saw after game one, where going into Setu, going against the TUD Black Ice, I believe it was last week. Yeah. I didn't have too high expectations for the match, but as soon as that match started, and it got very interesting. There was a lot of good plays and a lot going on, and I definitely think it was a more explosive game to watch, and especially coming off that first team matchup of UCD against TUD. I think that definitely meant maybe for a more entertaining watch, and I definitely think going off that into a 2-0 split for these teams, I'm really expecting some high standard gameplay here for this match, and I'm looking forward to it, really.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see it, and obviously I was going to talk about something just now. But oh yeah, I found it in my brain. I want to talk a little bit about the format change. Obviously we're used to, me and you, the old souls of collegiate are well used to 4 or 5 man group stages. But now with the help of the with the admin C Pants, shout out my own brother Krusty Pants, we have the Buchel system and the Swiss stage. So these matchups tending to be more competitive, I would say. Oftentimes you have one really good team in a group that had 4 non-competitive games and walked their way to playoffs. Now with the Swiss stage, you play a team to the best of the system's ability that is matched to your record, and it's a really good for filtering out like dead matchups between 3-0 and 0-3 teams, and it's really good for progressing the good teams out of it, so we can decide who actually are the 8 best teams. I think it's a super exciting format. I'm really glad that it was introduced, and in all fairness to Krusty Pants, putting the hard work in to work out the Buchel scores, to tailor make these matchups pretty much.
I think I was watching, was it Counter-Strike or was it Rainbow Six? I think it was Counter-Strike last night, some of the Ireland Collegiate as well, and I believe one of them has adopted the Switch format as well, as far as I remember seeing.
Yeah,
so it's interesting that's being used around.
Yeah, the Swiss is coming to, even, if you woke up this morning to watch the games, Swiss in the World Championships, and we had the draw take place just after it. So really exciting matchups for Worlds tomorrow as well. But we're here to focus on the Netsoc Rebels going up against TUD Daredevils. I believe we are still waiting for the TUD Daredevils to ready up on Challenger mode. So we'll keep you guys company while we're waiting for that, of course. So
how are you getting on, Squav? How are you doing?
Me?
Since we're back here. Tell me a bit about yourself, man. You're back in here in the collegiate for the first time. I mean, I haven't been around college scene for a while here, so I'm also out of it. But how are you getting on, dude? What do you think of so far of this?
I'm good. Trying to keep up on my assignments or whatever can be a bit of a stress now that I'm in second year of college. But I'm doing pretty well. There's been a big shift in players in the scene. We've lost. I mean, we lost a lot, but we saw Disco Dano somehow come back, rise up from the ashes to to make a re-debut for TED. When I saw last week Arcane playing Orin Top into Aatrox, I was like, wait, no way they got like a better mid laner. And I looked at who the mid laner was, and it was Dano. And I was like, how has this even happened? I mean,
for anyone who's unfamiliar with this, by the way, Dano is a player who's been around the Irish scene community tournaments for a while.
Yeah.
And notably been a very good player as well. So for Arcane, who there's also a high mid laner to role swap top lane and to stick top lane, that's for the TUD Apes Alpha team. Definitely meant they have a really strong team.
Yeah, they do. That they do. I believe we're almost about ready to jump into draft lol, except for the fact that they swap sides for some reason. So we
Happens.
we will. I need to move my logos around, unfortunately. But I will get that to you in a moment, Oshin. I'm just changing. I'm not the
That's no
usual.
bother.
I'm not the usual producer, so
No,
I
that's fair. You're doing a phenomenal job at the moment, man. We're getting to this first game and we actually watch it. It's gonna be some nasty stuff. Can't wait for this. I'm excited. Looking forward to this. Hopefully, lads, thank you so much for tuning in anyway. This is day 2 of it. In case you're just tuning in, we got TUD Daredevils going up against UCC Netsoc. It's going to be an interesting one. We're waiting a bit now, but it looks like we're about to get into
yeah,
challenger mode for this game.
the ready ups have gone through, so just waiting on the final touches from TUD Daredevils, and we will be underway in this draft. I'm excited to see where the ban priorities lie because there's a man, I don't know if you know this man, Oshim, by the name of Mongolian Yeti, and he loves a bit
Mongolian Yeti. Who
he
is
loves
this man?
he loves a bit of Nunu, and he loves a bit of Hecarim. So
Wait, is this what's their name? There's someone else. There was a team I played with, and they were a TUD team, and I'm not too familiar if that's the team or is it one of the other teams. But I believe I know this TUD team.
yeah, Mr. Mongolian Yeti. I had a chat with
I have the chance to play with him, I believe.
I had a chat with NYBM just before this game started. I wanted to ask his thoughts on ban priorities and stuff, and we were talking about Hecker.
There it is.
Yeah, as Mongolian Yeti will not see Nunu see the light of day in this game. But I was talking to NYBM. I was like, "Oh, what are you thinking for bans or whatever?" And he simply said, "Oh, it's interesting to me that the Hecarim got banned." He said, "Horseman can't carry on 1320," but it has drawn a ban from UCC this time around.
Yeah, UCC deciding to ban the Hecarim away there from Mongolian Yeti. I mean, is it going to be a 3 jungle ban, do you reckon, Squad? But they are hovering the Zaya. I'm not sure. Someone saw some of those Worlds clips. Zaya was doing bits earlier on, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the ban there. And there you go, against NYBM. What do you familiar with NYBM's champ pool here? Is that something that is worth taking away?
Yeah, a lot of Zaya, a lot of Kaisa. As the Jinx priority.
Jinx used the Jinx buffs went through as well. In case you're unaware, there's been a 25% offer passive is now, I think it's infinite, so it just keeps stacking on top of each other now. So now I've seen some clips there of someone doing 16.8 attack speed against a turret after a 5-man team fight. And I'm interested to see what TUD Daredevils do with it. I haven't personally played Jinx since this buff. Haven't seen much gameplay of it neither. So how UCC respond here will definitely be interesting. One champ that is available and could be picked as well is the Vayne. Another arcane favorite. As the Taric getting locked in there for UCC. What do you think?
A Taric off rip is surprising. I mean, like the Rakan ban is very meta, but we've been seeing a lot of Alistar, a lot of Nautilus in these games. It's interesting to me that that Jay Zheng comes in and locks in Taric straight away as his support pick. On the 0 second as well, there must have been a bit of talking about it, but would it go very well with the Nyla? I think it would.
It may do. I mean, Taric ulti mixed with Nyla jumping in there with the E, getting a dash into their whole team. It's nice to have a bit of a mobility. You've also got a wind wall, maybe with a Taric ulti on top of that. You've got a lot of safety, especially versus this Jinx. Not too familiar how that matchup goes, but I can't imagine it's too bad with the wind wall.
Yeah, I don't think it's the worst. I think Mongolian Yeti's third most played after Horseman and Nunu is the Jarvan 4. Again, a very meta pick in this on 1320.
Jarvan has been seeing a lot of popularity recently as well. I do agree. I have to say now, I've seen some interesting picks come out here. We could see something interesting. The Kayssante is up as well, if they want to go for that. Some of the high priority top laners are also up, if any of them want to go for that. Although it is more tank meta. Zillion locked in.
That's kind of the magic of these games, isn't it? You never know what you're gonna see in the first rotation. Obviously a flex pick, but I'd imagine that's going down into the bot lane with the Taric and the Neela. It's nice. I think the Zac pick would be lovely here. We saw Cuz play it today at Worlds. Really undervalued pick. He played it last week as well. I think it's a good pick.
And here it is, locked in the Zac. Second round of bans. Anything in particular TUD Daredevils want to be taken away here as someone familiar with the team?
If anybody in this game plays Kayssante, get rid. I think it's the most valued pick in any draft these days, and I think teams really need to stop handshaking Kayssante matchups. Obviously, in Irish scene in general, Oren has a massive presence. But these UCC lads have never really played in traditional Irish tournaments, so their meta is completely different to the one that we'd be used to. So I'm really interested to see where they go from here. As we see the Darius ban, he played that I heard he's been cooking it in scrims against MTU. So
I mean, someone's an Adam fan, as we saw. That Kesante into Darius matchup was pretty good when Adam was playing it.
Yeah, we're going to see a Renekton ban as well. Obviously, a very meta top laner as well, seeing almost 100% presence at Worlds today. And again, was very present in the collegiate games that I had the pleasure of looking at a few of the results on Challenger mode.
What do you think of Jax here, Scrabble, by the way? Is Jax, after his visual, any better?
Yeah. I really like playing it now because he walks like a human, so it's pretty cool. I think Jax is good as long as whoever is playing against it doesn't play Gwen, because that matchup it's the other way around. Lissandra, I think, is a good pick. Hulk reformed, big Lissandra player. He said he told me he was going to play it if the Hecarim was picked, but he might cook it anyway. Maybe a Galio.
He's hovering the Galio, and it'd be a nice team fight if they lock that in. And yes, it's quite a beefy comp so far for the side of UCC. A lot of protection for this Neela if she needs it with the hero's entrance. You've also got a Zac for a bit of disengage, Taric ulti available, and they're cooking. I don't know whether the cooking tastes good or not, man, but they are cooking.
It's a good denial as well, because you've like a relative, like Nyla with the against the Jarvan, you take the Galio away, so they can't take it, and there's the Ornn that we were talking about. Ulti. Yeah. So Syndra so it is Zilean in the support. We have Syndra mid lane, and that's the ever present Ornn that I was speaking about not moments ago.
Lock Vayne. I think a Vayne top here. You destroy Ornn. You absolutely take away the Jax. Oh my god,
predictions. Let's go.
Someone's in the chat.
I love it. Love it. As we will send it back to the cameras for a moment so we can have a little chit chat about what we've just seen. Big fan of the Jax. The matchup isn't too bad. I think as long as you can survive, there's nobody on the TUD Dardevils team that can match a Jax with a Hullbreaker in this game, to be honest. Syndra wouldn't be able to clear the waves. Ornn kind of struggles to clear Hullbreaker waves in general. So I think if they can, because I imagine, based on what I've seen from UCC, they do tend to play strong side bot. So as long as he can be a good weak side warrior and just get his gold early, don't die to Jarvan ganks, I think we could be pretty set on that, as the UCC boys are unfamiliar as to what to do in terms of inviting people to lobbies. So I'm gonna have to
you have to set the word around you.
I have to tell Hulk Reform to invite me to the game, but invite me. There we go.
It's interesting to say, though, you're saying that about the UCC comp. Personally, though, I do see an avenue for your TUD Daredevils here. You have a Jinx. You have a bit of peel potential for the Jinx. You have a bit of engage. Jarvan ulti is also a big tool for when Jinx rockets. If you lock two people in there, you get a Runaan's Hurricane or something, you start popping Jinx rockets down, you can do some serious damage. And as well as that, they're almost on a timer as well, as the ornaments are fairly nice to have. Maybe Syndra's nice with it, but especially that Jinx. Giving Jinx those ornaments is huge in this. And I think the later this game goes, the more it'll get interesting. And especially if Jinx Zilean get ahead early. I'm not too familiar how Neela Taric will do early on versus the Jinx Zilean, but definitely think there's a lot of kill pressure. And I definitely think if that Jinx snowballs out of control, especially with some of these puffs and these changes we've seen, could be an 80 carry versus 80 carry later game matchup, or even Jinx against Jax later on versus who's going to be carry this game out.
Yeah, apparently they're having trouble inviting me. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to send this to a break for a small moment while we try to figure out this lobby. Just bear with us for a couple minutes and I'll be back to you shortly.
Don't go anywhere, lads. We are just about ready to kick off game one of this best of one between UCC Netsoc Rebels and TUD Daredevils. Go team.
Yes.
Let's go. Squav, what are we thinking, man?
So excited for my UCC boys. I can't wait. I think there's a bit of work to be done here. I think the Jervin will need to really cement some early priority, but we might have some shenanigans.
We might have some shenanigans currently. Something could go down now in a second.
Just a word.
Just a ward for the moment, though.
Not the worst for them. Obviously they get the Jax picks up the XP there, and they might look to cheese. I'm not sure. Do you think this would be advantageous for UCC's bot lane to cheese here?
It might be for UCC, especially with the Neela, who can snowball a bit out of control, and especially with the Taric as well. I think it's definitely beneficial for UCC. I also think there's be a lot of argument for TUD to do the same and get the Jinx ahead.
Yeah, that's true. I just think the Zilean is quite weak level 1 that they might look to exploit, but I think TUD are wise to their tricks, and they're going to walk the long way around.
There's a lot going on at the moment anyway.
Yeah, if we get a little rune check, I think everything's pretty normal. The little tempo on Jinx compared to the Conqueror of the Neela. Aftershock on both Galio and Zach. Is there something to be said about them maybe lacking damage?
I definitely think for the side of UCC, they're entirely relying on either the Jax or the Neela. And I mean, Jax can do a lot of damage, but it also depends what he itemizes. Whereas I think it's pretty much in the palm of this Neela to kind of get herself ahead, make her leads, and eventually meet up with the Jax, and so they can just 4-1 stick Jax in the side lane and just really tear this game into control.
Yeah, I think that 4-1 is going to be incredibly key for UCC to really put their mittens on this game. A great trade for Ornn there.
Sorry, I'm having issues at the moment trying to view the
can you not
stream.
see it?
No.
My bad. Hold on.
Apologies for that.
I have to keep an eye on it. My bad. That better?
It's still lagging.
Yeah, my client's kind of lagging though.
I'm getting freezes.
Oh, you have freezes.
It's freezing for a while.
Can you spectate to your client maybe?
I'll
commentate in the meantime. Okay, so it's gonna be a first blood. Neela gets the first blood for UCC there. Ben Tennyson goes down to the Zach gank there, the elastic slingshot. Obviously, it's pretty key for Zach to get his farm early, but it's always great to get a good first gank off there.
Yeah, so first blood gonna go over to UCC then. I mean, first blood going into the Neela. As I said, their game plan originally was to get Neela ahead early and snowball it out of control, and eventually kind of work towards these team fights, which I definitely think they're capable of doing here. Especially that first death going over to the Jinx is definitely not how you want to start your hyper carry start to this game. I definitely think Jinx's goal is already going to be slowed down a bit here by the Neela, and it could only get worse with a few kills on her.
Yeah, apologies for no game audio there, my fault. Yeah, pretty huge. Obviously Nancy NYBM is the carry of this this UCC team, and it's going to be huge to have him ahead. Obviously goes back, gets 2 long swords, no calls in this game. As an AD carry yourself, you might be able to tell me what is the art of the call all about?
The call is intended to get you ahead as fast as possible in the attempt that you're in a losing matchup, so you can just kind of recall, play it slow. Or if you think you're just going to be in a farming matchup, one where you kind of want that static shiv, getting that cull, just getting that 300 Gs to speed your build is fairly handy. It's a little trophy at the end for essentially not fighting or needing the extra damage. But as you might be aware, I'm assuming Doran's did get buffed this patch, so no one will be go cull anyway, because Doran's currently gives the same amount of AD as Longsword, plus it gives you those defensive, the lifesteal stats as well. So it's already a really smart investment. I still see options for it, as we do see a flash forward there. The stun going to land now, though, unfortunately, and it looks like the Jinx is going to get in. Ben Tennyson going to fall, and another kill going over to NYBM.
NYBM is going to be unleashed in this game. Already has a 2 longsword advantage. Now has more gold as soon as he goes back. Jinx left running back to the lane for the second time now. That's really bad for a Jinx that's trying to snowball, as we see the flash there.
Yeah, flash blown there. Top lane, though, a bit of a fight back and forth. Something might happen here, as we do see Ornn trying to output a bit more damage, just trying to take that Jax as low as possible and force that recall.
Yeah, obviously this is how this matchup kind of goes. I think you know, a big part of both these champs is that neither of them have sustained this early on. So the chunk plays are really, really important. If you get chunked out in one of these lanes, you like, it spirals kind of out of control. We've seen Illusion X like all around this map now, going for his third gank.
Yeah, we see it again in the top lane. The flash from the Ornn bursted there. They were pushing forward with this kill here. Jackson for something, but it didn't matter because Ornn takes him out meanwhile. And in mid lane looks like something trying to go down there, so cameras panned us down there, but it looks like nothing's happening. That's pretty
crucial area there from the Jax. He's going to miss out on what would have been a potential kill if he might have played it just a little bit better. But I think the play in general was ill-advised. Ornn didn't even have to use his ultimate ability there to escape to freedom.
I definitely think it was unfortunate that Zach went in there. I think Zach could have at least forced Jack off the wave. I didn't really think he needed to, or force Ornn off the wave. I didn't really think he needed to assist Zach there, and I think it was unfortunate that he did get the kill. But meanwhile, UCC are still ahead at the moment. There is still stuff they can do here, although it's going to get a bit more difficult as Galio gets ever closer to dropping that hero's entrance, either top lane to help his Jax or bot lane to push this, what's her name, Neela, into the stratosphere. We do see a bit of aggression coming out here. The stun connects. In comes the Zillion, trying to stop it, but it doesn't matter. And the exhaust is going to come through. Jinx back in response. A lot of damage coming through. Flash from the Neela. Neela gets a kill, but Neela goes in anyway, and it's a 1-for-1. Can it be another one? As we do see the Zillion, or Tarek, trying to get away as fast as possible, but can he get someone back in response? No, they don't get the Jarvan.
This is going to be big danger for TUD. I don't think the goal graph relatively shows it just yet, but that's a 0-3 Jinx already. Neela is 3-1, and you saw the Tarek was incredibly able to hold his own there when the Jarvan jumped onto him because he has the tier, so he's able to stack up his healing and his shielding very quickly. So this is going to be a big boy bot lane performance from NYBM and right D. It's just a matter of if they can play their fights well, because these champs are pretty important.
Meanwhile, then that top lane, Call of the Forge God, going to be used. They're trying to get the Jax. Jax flashing there. Is Jarvan going to get the kill or try to force it forward? As we do see the Syndra landing the stun. And down goes. Zac is in his passive at the moment there. He is going to get taken out. Noodle going to take the kill. Meanwhile in the bot lane, Tarek's stun connects on to the Zillion, but it doesn't matter. But they do take out Neela, do take out Zillion in the end, and it's going to be Tarek versus Jinx, and it's going to be a double kill meanwhile here for this Jinx from the looks of things. Tarek going to land that stun though. Does she have the rocket damage? Does she have the W? She does! Ben Tennyson with the double kill!
And just like that, it all goes wrong for them again, right back into the game with the Jinx. Now as a bounty, if we take a look at the gold split, only 400 gold in the difference now. That's very substantial for the sake of this game, because UCC are really relying on NYBM to be the carry here in this game. They have a Galio and a Zac and a struggling Jax in this top lane if we're being honest. So Ben Tennyson straight back into the game, no excuses now. With the new Jinx buffs, this could be major for TUD in this game.
I definitely think as the game goes on, bot lane is where it's at, as this Jinx and Neela just dueling it back and forward. We do see Jarvan come on bot lane a bit as well. Zac opting a bit more towards that top side, as we do see as well. He is at his red buff, maybe looking for a potential gank here onto the Ornn. Meanwhile, Jax is maybe setting up for this as well. Jarvan is doing the Rift Herald, but is going to get spotted there by the Zac. Not sure if he's going to do anything about it.
That's a classic Ornn performance there. Able to really with the top laner, and has all the prio in the world for Mongolian Yeti. This is what you want as a jungler. Has the top prio. Illusion is still a level up on the Jarvan, but it doesn't matter. He can't contest.
Meanwhile, the bot lane are looking to go in here. Jinx gonna get stunned. Nothing Zillion can do there, and it does look like the ulti is gonna keep her alive for now. But I think Neela's gonna take her out as soon as she gets out. But she might not actually, as a lot of damage is coming through. The stun does not connect. Zillion does land the stun himself. In comes the hero's entrance though from the Galio. Maybe a bit over eager there, but they are going to look for the push here anyway. But that is that Galio ulti down as it does push forward. Out comes the Jinx ulti. Not going to do anything though. Neela's still alive. Is something going to happen back in response here? Someone's pathing towards that boss side as Zac is also hopping around there, and it looks like that might just be... No, it's not. Syndra landing the double stun there onto Tarek Neela. Galio going in with the Tarek route. He's getting stunned down. Is Galio going to get himself a kill? No. And it's just a lot of messy fighting for nothing here, Squab.
An extended 1 minute long fight where nothing happens at the end. Yeah, I really didn't think that the Galio needed to commit to that play, but once he was there, he was kind of desperate to get something done. And it ends up in this weird extended play where nobody really loses, but I suppose they popped the Zillion ulti, which is pretty big. They're still kind of showing dominance in the spot lane, but it looked a lot harder there than it has done throughout the rest of this game. They're going to get the push here, though.
Definitely think you're right in the way of they did force a play there. It was unnecessary for Galio to go in, but at the same time, if they did get something out of that, like maybe a kill onto the Jinx or maybe a kill onto the Zillion, it would make it a lot sweeter, but overall, yeah, it was just a hero's entrance and a couple of suns.
If we do take a little peek at this top lane, that's a full Sunfire cape for the Ornn here. Generally, you want to go that item when you're looking to do more damage in the lane phase, when you're winning your lane, essentially. And this Jax is struggling, sitting on only 600 gold and only has 2 components of his mythic item. This could be trouble in this top lane, you know, and it's not really a lane that you want to lose, because you want to look to assert your dominance in the side lane as soon as you can. But he's giving up all priority, you know. Ornn can just walk down to this dragon now, as opposed to TPing.
Meanwhile, Dragon is started here. Syndra going to find the Galio, and it looks like the side of TUD are trying to do this Infernal, but Zac is here, Tarek is here, something might start. Neela's going in, a lot of damage coming through here. She's going hyper aggressive. Down goes Zillion. For the looks of things, he's going to have to ulti himself. Jinx doesn't have that shield to keep her alive in the next fight. Call of the Forge God going to come out though, and back in response, here come the boys. TUD going to take out one. Down goes the Dragon, down goes Tarek. Jinx getting taken out there, but Zac is going to keep pursuing forward. And it looks really good so far for TUD. And meanwhile, here comes UCC now, or TUD even, and they're going to get the Dragon.
Yeah, it's disaster for UCC, to be honest. NYBM gets taken out. Eats up way too many Jinx autos. You know, he opted into this matchup and seems to be struggling with the spacing of you know, getting onto the Jinx without, you know, getting completely junked in the process. And then as the Tarek ulti came down, the Moonlight Vigil, it just was not enough for to keep him alive. He's locked in with the Jarvan and is unable to do anything. So that's Daniela goes down, wasn't able to utilize the collector that she had just bought prior to that. And another death for NYBM here. Suddenly you're thinking, will he even be able to get enough gold to carry them?
Definitely after that fight, it looks a lot better for the side of TUD. UCC kind of took a difficult play. They've making it a lot harder on themselves, and they started this game oh so well. Meanwhile here, TUD kind of clawing their way back into it. And I mean, Everclear, these ultis coming through are pretty huge. It's like Jinx ulti can do bits, and this Zillion ulti is a lifesaver for this Jinx. And I mean, that Call of the Forge God onto any members of UCC, it's got to be tough. But we do see the stun coming down there onto the Galio, a bit of chip damage back. Zac is hovering around that backside as well. So is Jarvan. Maybe some plays looking for again in the bot lane.
Yeah, you have to take just a little look at the gold split in the mid lane here. We haven't really been able to talk about Noodle very much, but on this Syndra, 3-0 now, has a full Leandries, and is a whopping 1.7k gold up so far. It's a big mid lane performance on a champion that really could carry this game when the carries of UCC are struggling so much.
Definitely think they can do something, and especially with like the champs that they have drafted themselves. UCC have a lot of avenues back into it, and a lot of ways to get ahead in this. They do have the hero's entrance as a bit of a safety net for if Neela goes too far forward. Zac can also do a lot with his own ulti, and I definitely think at the moment neither team really has a clear runaway, but I definitely think at the moment I'm liking what TUD have been doing so far.
Yeah, and this is really not where you want to be as a Jax. He's almost he's guaranteed to be a level and a half down on the Ornn here. It might be more as well. Just hasn't really made the right movements. Hasn't been able to punish at all. And you know, once he gets that Sunder, it's going to get easier. But with the rate at which he's been falling behind, it's not going to get that much easier.
Definitely think it's going to be hard, but I also think as well, Galio can do a lot of damage, as we just saw to that Syndra there. He did chunk her out a fair bit. Meanwhile, in the spot lane, a lot of the members of UCC are looking for something hyper-aggressive. In goes Zac onto the Jinx. Stun not going to connect, though. J4 going to drop a Cataclysm down on some of the members of UCC there. And, I mean, Jinx is trying to do as much damage as he can. Chomper's going to come through. TP going to come out here for the Ornn, but is it too little too late? Is UCC pushed forward? No, it's not. Here comes the Ornn. 1 kill for Jinx. 1 kill for Ornn. And it's going to be the hero's entrance for the Galio to try and save himself. But no, he looks like a hero's entrance right into his death.
Yeah, it's so disjointed, to be honest. I mean, once they pop the Zillion revive, and you know, you think they have lost the fight, but they haven't lost the fight like tremendously hard. And then they just continue to walk forward and, you know, get flag and dragged, and then they see the TP get popped and they still try to commit to the play. It seems incredibly disjointed. And then once the Galio comes in, the Zac has already jumped out, and it kind of spells disaster, and you'd have to question the communication of the UCC team there as to what the plan actually was.
I definitely think it was a bit disjointed from UCC. I definitely think what TUD did there was they played it slow, they waited, and I definitely think they kind of just waited for UCC to burn a lot of their stuff, and as soon as the Orn came in and started doing a bit more, it just became almost clear that TUD were going to win the fight, and I think UCC even overcommitted fairly heavily with the hero's entrance straight after it, and it was just rather unfortunate for them, but I still wouldn't say it's cut and dry for TUD here at the moment, as we do see Jax just sitting on the sideline, CSing up at the moment. He's trying to just take a bit of trades with this Orn as well. He's fighting him here. He might be looking for something.
Yeah, he's hit that spike.
Have the Call of the Forge God, does he? I don't think he does.
No, it's still on cooldown. He hit the spike, he hit the Divine Thunder spike, and he's going to be able to bully now.
Yeah, and Jax going aggressive. The stun connects. 1v1 solo bolo for the Jax there. But here we go, someone's here. Out comes Jinx Rocket. J4's here. Who's going to get the kill? Is he going to take it in response? Yes, he does, and it's a 1-for-1. Zac, though, was a bit too late, as he did get caught by the Zillion.
Yeah, it was almost too light there for the Jax. Obviously, he does get the solo bolo in the side lane. I think he might have been able to live a little bit longer if he had hit the W on the Jarvan just to get that Sunder proc. But looking a lot better for him now. This probably could be the saving grace for UCC. He has 14 stacks left on his cull. You know, that'll be a big payout when he does get it, and he has the Sunder now, so you'd think that they will struggle to match him in the sideline, especially, they're going to want the Syndra with the team to go for objectives. So to see Jax getting those leads against an Ornn who is one level up on him and has been beating him the entire game, it's a bright spot in an otherwise dull game for UCC so far.
I think definitely Jax has been a real shining light for them. I definitely think he's doing bits, and I mean, rage splitting in the sideline is not the worst option for a win condition. I've seen teams win from worse positions. I definitely think at the moment UCC definitely not out of it, but TUD are looking like they're going to start this dragon.
Yeah, UCC not in position at all really to contest this. They still have their Jax without TP in the top lane. Ornn made a point out of walking down here. He knows he loses in the side lane now, but he's still a level up. He can use that advantage, bring it down to the team to just secure that dragon. That's soul point.
Soul point for TUD, going to be a mountain soul. That's fairly big for TUD, I think, is it?
Yeah.
Not the worst.
I mean, I feel like the Neela would struggle to cut through, an Ornn with the mountain soul. It's pretty good for the durability. I will also just like to put a bit of a light on Sprumble and his Zillion in this game. I think it's been pretty top notch. He's been hitting a lot of crucial double Qs to just completely stall the engages that UCC have tried to throw out there. So
oh, but Neela's gonna do something to that Jinx in the middle lane. Not gonna get the kill. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Call of the Forge God gonna get popped. Ornn trying to walk away, but Jax wants this kill. He's chasing for it. He wants that stun, and he lands it there. But is he gonna push forward for it? He might not, and he gets killed back in response in his own attempt at the solo kill. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Jinx taking a Tarek, but Jarvan is on the defensive, gonna flag and drag, and no one from UCC to chase him down. But TUD look like they want more. Jarvan running far forward here. But no, they're not going to get anything.
It's gone very wrong in all three lanes there for ECC. You had Kaume Baobing overcommitting in the top lane. He knows that he can force it, but he's forcing too hard, and does end up taking too many tower shots and going down. And then you saw in the mid lane just calamity for their bot lane there. And then in the bot lane, when they did try to get a cross map pick on the Jarvan, they just weren't able to keep him knocked up for long enough.
We do see the Everfrost route come out there onto the Jarvan. He might get down, but the flag and dry comes out. Wrong direction though. Zac looking for something here, knocking up the Jarvan. Out comes the less bounce. In goes the Galio, but he flashed over the wall. Are they going to match him? Another flag and drag. What a little Captain Jack. Is that him?
Yeah, he's able to withstand all CC there with the flag and drag. He's been really good with the buffer. He was taunted there, but still managed to get the Q onto the flag, so he was able to get out there. Then he does get hit by the elastic slingshot, but is able to get out there alive with only his flash accosted. So that's more good news for TUD in a game where they're 6.5k gold up, on soul point, Baron spawning soon. As long as they play their macro good, I think they'd be seen as clear runaway winners here. But stranger things have happened in these kind of games.
Definitely think they're not out just yet, but for the position TUD are in right now, they're definitely in a position where they can contest Baron and potentially force UCC into a very unfavorable fight where they do not want to be taking these fights in these narrow spaces against the Orin and things like a Jinx with rockets and even a Syndra 3-man stun as well. It's got to be tough for them. Meanwhile, though, looks like Zilean might have just got caught out there, found himself a Jax, super low, but the remaining members of TUD are here to make sure he gets it out alive. Here comes the other members of UCC. Galio's recalling, does have the hero's entrance available, I believe. And meanwhile, TUD looking if they're going to start this Baron. They say, let's go pull the trigger on it, but they're going to stop now and try to force the fight into UCC. UCC trying to run away from this. TUD say, no, we want to go back. We want to take this Baron, and if you want to fight us, we're going to fight you. And UCC, are they going to commit to this? Orin going in, not going to connect that dash through. Does find the Taric, and it looks like UCC have successfully stalled Baron for now.
Yeah, they just, it's really tough to watch UCC try to navigate these fights because they just don't really have the damage to commit to a pick.
I definitely agree, but Jarvan might have just got caught there. The stun doesn't connect, but it did pull in Zilean, and Zilean forced to ulti himself there. In comes the hero's entrance down onto 2. Dead Zilean, but is that all that's going to happen? Here's another fight breaks out, and a really nice engage there for the side of UCC. They do take out Neela, though. Galio not looking so hot neither, and what looked fairly good for UCC is now turned against them with the remaining members of TUD running down UCC towards their own base here. And this is looking like a Baron going over to TUD after this.
I think they might look to just run it down, to be honest. You have
oh yeah, they have death timers.
Yeah, you have 18 seconds. White Raven doing the correct thing here, tanking up for as long as he can to try and keep that minion wave alive. I think it is brave. I think it's tight, but if they go for it, they'll be good.
Oh,
for it.
They'll win my heart. Oh my god, they are. They're going for this end squad. This might actually
be very brave.
That is some serious stuff on these TUD lads. They're made of steel. Look, they're going in again. But the Jax connects, trying to stun, trying to take out the Syndra, but he's in retreat mode. If they're going to take it out, we do see all the autos. They get the end. TUD, you mad lads.
That is unbelievable on the side of TUD there. They're able to get the job done. That is fantastic work there from TUD. They grab the win against UCC, send UCC down to 2-1. And they themselves 3-0 for TUD Daredevils. What do you think of that performance in total?
I definitely think for how this game started, it went a complete 180. It was very interesting how well they played it. I think especially that Syndra, some of those stuns she landed, a lot of the damage she did, you can even see it, most damage in the team for TUD there as well. Like, she did some serious bits in that game, but I also think the members of TUD, especially about how kind of difficult it was off to a bit of a rocky start, ganks bot lane, a lot of stuff going on as well with that Jinx. But, I mean, to be fair, after Neela kind of fell behind a bit more and it started going all awry for UCC, it just started going so well for TUD. Even fights that UCC were starting were losing in the end because they'd eventually would blow their load, blow their ultis, use their summoners, and they think, okay, we got a kill for this, but what's going to stop the Syndra from taking me out? And what's going to stop the Ornn ulti after or the TP in? And the problem was they had no response and they didn't have enough damage to take out some of the beefier members of TUD.
Yeah, it's a really big performance from Noodle. I think White Raven had a quiet, amazing game. He did get solo killed that one time, but his map movements were unbelievable, where he was able to recognize that Jax was weak and needed to farm, and that he didn't have TP. Kept track of his timers really well. Went down to the Dragons when he was needed. Has a pretty ridiculous 16 out of 21 KP as well. TUD Daredevils kind of showed that they're really good at playing together. It didn't go well early, but the fights that UCC tried to take ended up being incredibly disjointed for them, and they started doing things where the Zac would jump out, but the Nyla would be jumping in. It's clear to see that they maybe have some work to do in the scrim room with trying to fix up their communication in their own team fights. But I think TUD exploited it really well and showed that they were the better team playing together. Had a Syndra that was, pretty far ahead. Even Ben Tennyson, who got off to a rough start, they were able to drag him in. Mongolian Yeti, obviously, playing to bot. Not dying a single time, by the way, playing Jarvan is pretty impressive.
I definitely think that it was a pretty good performance all around, really, from TUD, especially from the rocky start. And I think, honestly, that was a really good game one. It was a good start. And it was entertaining. That's exactly what I needed to give me that energy injection to start off my day anyway. But yeah, that is going to be game one. We will be back soon, hopefully, with game two. But until then, lads, don't go anywhere.